Some 20 million years ago, a volcanic island spewed out of the Atlantic. With the influence of the Gulf Stream current, a subtropical island emerged. Vegetation flourished, in particular the laurisilva, a type of laurel forest which is found in areas of high humidity. The moist trade winds that blow across the island allows the mist to gather on the leaves and undergrowth, an ecosystem almost the same as it was those millions of years ago. Over 150 ferns and mosses, many exclusive to Madeira, can be found here, growing on the old laurel trees, some of which are over 400 years old. The modern evolution of this tiny piece of land had begun. A Portuguese explorer discovered the island, describing it as a dark cloud on the horizon. Like vapours from the mouth of hell, he logged. Bravely sailing to the island, he found a beautiful wooded land. He named it Madeira, which in Portuguese means wood. "600 years ago, while France and England fought out their 100 Years' War, early settlers from the Algarve started to develop the terraced farming that is a feature of the steep mountainsides of today. Along with the levadas, or irrigation channels, with their accompanying footpaths that snake through the landscapes. It was the Portuguese who realized the importance of the trade winds in navigation. And Madeira's position made it an ideal stop-off and victualling point for traders and explorers of the New World. In the 15th century, sugarcane was the main export, and some 70 ships from Antwerp engaged in its exportation around Europe, turning the island into a thriving Portuguese colony. Only 3 sugarcane processing factories still exist, and in early April their machines are put to work, processing the raw constituents of the cane, producing syrup, molasses and rum. When sugar production moved to Brazil, Madeira's main trade became that of wine. Fortified Madeira wine became the most popular luxury beverage in the colonial Western Hemisphere. Synonymous with this unique wine is the Blandy family, who started their business some 200 years ago.
We buy our grapes from all our 800 farmers around the island. So the grapes come from all these different parts of the island. When they arrive to the winery, each farmer has their own book. It's a book from the farmer telling which grape exactly he brings, and at that time at the winery we check the grapes, the quality, and we measure the sugar contained. So in reality, Blandies buy grapes from all these different farmers around the island.
Over the last 16 years, the island vineyard owners have started to develop some interesting table wines. One such are the Galdira family. Sophia and her father invite us to their vineyards and introduce us to their label, Terras do Avo.
I received from my father and my mother any soils, any lands. And after I think what I do with these small lands. One with 19 square meters is nothing. And I think like I think the best is produce wine.
Our wines, the names of our wines are Terras do avô, it means grandfather's land. That's because we start the production in the lands that my grandfather left to my father. What it means, this label? It's a grandfather inside of a barrel, a cask of wine. This is only the face. The red have the beer more strong, because it's a stronger wine, the red, than the white.
The calderas promote their wines to visitors coming to the island, with tastings at the winery, and now sell some 30,000 bottles of red and white wine per year. Madeira wine and bananas are now amongst the most important exports of the island.
But here it's the best region to grow bananas. It has a lot of sun, water, the soil is very fertile. Sometimes some benches here reach 70, 80 kilos. That one should be about 60. This one a little bit less, but that's some that reach about 80 kilos.
Bananas contribute to about 45% of Madeiran exports, and along with other agricultural projects, employs some 21% of its workforce. The reputation of Madeira's perfect climate and hospitality started to attract tourists. Most visitors in those early days belonged to the moneyed classes. William Reed opened his Grand Hotel in 1894, cashing in on people who wanted to relax or take a break before they continued their voyages to the new worlds of India, South America and Australia. No cars in those early days, and travellers were pulled on sledges or carried in hammocks. Today, cable cars whisk the visitors to Monte, its famous gardens, church, and innovative toboggans that were the quickest way for residents to reach the centre of Funchal, and which are still an attraction today. Sailing ships gave way to seaplanes as the tourist trade developed. Now, a modern airport greets the visitors, and cruise ships from around Europe berth at Funchal. An early visitor said, "I should think the location of Madeira is the most enviable on the whole planet. It ensures every European comfort with almost every tropical luxury." Funchal, framed by a dramatic backdrop of towering cloud-tipped mountains, unfolds over a series of steep hills and flattened terraces. Stunning gardens and flowers draped over the slopes like a patchwork quilt offer a plethora of subtropical plants and trees that seep into the city's urban fabric. The old town and its quirky arty doors, adding character to the busy streets of restaurants, lead you to the traditional market. Ripe, succulent fruit and vegetables, and the freshest of fish and seafood on the stalls. The very centre of Madeiran life. Every Thursday, small farmers bring their fruit and vegetables to the market, and when the bell rings at 7 o'clock, they start to set up their stalls. With 480 hotels and hundreds of eating establishments, local produce plays an important role on the daily menu of locals and visitors. Perhaps the two most typical ingredients on the menu are banana and espada, or black scabbard fish. This ugly deep water fish, long valued as a great delicacy. To find out more about this ugly yet tasty fish, we speak to the coordinator of fishing research at the Madeiran Fishing Authority. 80% of the espada catches in Madeira are landed here at Funchal.
At the very beginning, the fishery was made especially by boats and by the population of Câmara de Lobos. So it is very important, both historically, socially, and economically. And the importance that this fishery has to us, to Madeira, to the Madeira economy, to the Madeiran people, have certainly no comparison with the same fishery for other countries. In the 80s, the fishery has had very important development, and they start fishing with horizontal long lines because they live more near the bottom, but during night they ascend in the water column to feed on the prey in the mesopelagic layer.
The catches are made with drifting long lines at depths of 800 to 1,200 meters. In general, between 4,000 and 5,000 hooks are used per boat per day of fishing.
So they are fished because with horizontal long lines improve the efficiency of the fishery, because the fishermen set all the gear in the right depth layer where the black scabbard has arose to feed.
The fish die before they are landed, due to being killed by the pressure change while being brought to the surface. Not much is known about the early stages of the espada's life, but spawning takes place around about Madeira, and it is thought that they mature in the deep waters off the Rockell Trough off the coast of Scotland.
Apparently, the most recent scientific evidences agree that the Aphanopus carbo made some sort of a migration after the spawning. Somehow, we don't know how, they migrate to the northern areas and then come to Madeira to spawn.
We had to wait 3 days before we received a message from our contact at the lodge to tell us a boat was about to arrive. They returned to Madeira late at night or very early in the morning, trying to avoid arriving at the same time as other espada fishing boats, so that they can demand better prices. Some of these boats have been at sea for up to 15 days, so the fish is packed in ice. The ice has to be hacked away before the fish can be landed. Of course, the uppermost fish is the most fresh, so is sold to the premium buyers, the hotels and the wholesalers. The lower layers of fish going to the market.
Of course, we are also fishing the spawners, so I think the black scabbard has to have some sort of integrated plan of management. In my view, it has to have some sort of cooperation between all the countries that are fishing the species. If the model that says that there is a migration, it is confirmed, and now the last scientific evidences apparently are corroborating this hypothesis.
Fishery production Madeira is very concentrated. The two main species caught are the Espada and tuna, which is landed at Machico. They represent 85% of all fish landed in Madeira. Much of the tuna fishing off the coast of Madeira is also by line. Unlike the Espada that die before they are hauled on the boats, tuna comes on board alive. To reduce the panic of the fish, a fine spray of water is pumped from the boats, so the fishermen can't be seen by the fish. This also acts as a stimulant to the shoals of small fish on which the tuna are feeding. At Camara de Lobos, fishermen catch another Madeiran delicacy, which they name sapata or gata, or kitefin shark, a type of dogfish. A deep water fish, it is dried in the open air by the natural elements, then cooked and served in various ways. The catching of these kitefin has now been stopped due to the shortage of stock, so these images at Camara de Lobos are unlikely to be seen again. Today in Madeira, one can witness the complete history of the island's fishing. In little harbours, boat builders carry out their craft, repairing the small boats, used close to the shore for sprat, sardine and bait fishing. Austrian head chef Klaus at the 4-star Porto Santa Maria Hotel still marvels at the abundance of fresh food found on this island paradise compared to his native Austria.
Yes, for me it was a very big difference. If you come from Austria to here, we have one time a year the fruit or vegetable, where here in Madeira a lot of vegetables and fruits we can have it twice a year. We have every time fresh vegetables. We have to use it as well because we work in a 4-star hotel, and it's not very good to work with frozen vegetables and frozen. It's not necessary even because you go in the market, you can buy everything. You know, it depends the price as well. But in the last years, I tell you, the last 3-4 years, there grows a lot of small farmers they culture their land and biological vegetables and small farmers that like to sell as well. So they all like to sell, so we don't have to buy from outside. Today it's always very important to use local fruits, local vegetables, because why should we buy it from outside if everything is so close to here? You know?
The fresh fish, fruit and vegetables blend together as one exquisite gourmet experience. As one wanders through Funchal's narrow streets of inviting restaurants and are invited to enjoy Espada con banana by friendly waiters.
Mozza.
Next week on your Facebook, 5,000 people watching this.